We are here today to speak about IFRA's advocacy on the EU Chemical Strategy for Sustainability, so-called CSS.
In REACH in Europe, we mainly focus on the Chemical Strategy for Sustainability, as called the CSS, which was developed in October 2020 with a zero pollution ambition for a toxic-free environment.
The work started with the publication of the European Chemical Strategy for Sustainability communication, and it has been translated by a few legislative revisions.
Fragrances are chemical substances, so we expect that the implementation of the CSS will have an impact on our sector.
Encompassing revision of the chemical legislation, and the two big pieces of legislation here are CLP and REACH. CLP for the hazard classification and labeling of chemical substances and mixtures, and REACH for the restriction on the authorization of chemical substances. REACH is still to come. It has not yet been published by the European Commission. CLP is on its way for finalization by end of 2023. Further regulations are being also revised. For instance, the detergent regulation, the cosmetic legislation, and the toy safety regulation. On all these regulations, IFRA has been also actively involved in close collaboration with downstream sectors, respectively AIC, Cosmetic Europe, and Toy Industries of Europe, in order to make sure that we will reach workable provisions in this final text.
2023 was a critical year as it is the final stretch before the European elections of 2024, the start of a new European work plan for the 5 years to come, so 2024-2029.
In 2023, most of the work in relation to the implementation of the CSS focused, at least for the fragrance industry, on the revision of the CLP revision, meaning the regulation setting the rules for the hazard classification and labeling of chemical substances and mixtures.
The main stakeholders working on this are the European Commission and the Parliament, which are revising the regulations that may have an impact on the fragrance sector. So we closely work with Cosmetics Europe and AISE and other trade associations to make sure that the implementation of the CSS is fit for purpose.
The European Green Deal is a master plan of the European Union aiming at making Europe the first climate-neutral continent by 2050. If we would need to quote one achievement from IFRA in 2023, this would certainly be the proactive engagement done, reaching out to the key decision makers in Brussels and in the capitals, the European Commission, the European Parliament and the Council, as well as ministries at country level, on the collaboration with industries, partners across the value chain. Another key achievement in relation to the implementation of the EU Chemical Strategy for Sustainability in 2023 was the dialogue built across different partners and authorities around the subject related to the fragrance industry. Dialogue took place between IFRA and the fragrance-producing region across Europe in order also to highlight the footprint of our industry across Europe. Footprint in terms of socio-economic value, but not only, it's also about cultural heritage, innovation, regional development, and it was important to share these messages with the European Union, with the authorities in charge of shaping the legislation of tomorrow.